Hey friends, I wanted to alert you to Marco Rubio putting forth his, again, rehashed version of a red flag gun law bill. Marco does this every year. He tweaks the wording every year. Those of you that don't know what a red flag gun law is, of course, that's where a neighbor, a coworker, an ex-girlfriend, an ex-husband, just somebody that's angry with you, somebody watching a YouTube video that doesn't like the person putting the video on, anyone can make what somebody, not me, but somebody deems as a legitimate threat against someone else. A court system, a judge, somebody has to determine if that is a significant threat. At that point, they can either petition me and say that, Paul, we need to take your guns from you, and they bring me into court within 14 days and talk to me about the possibility of taking my guns, where I have to prove that I'm innocent. It's my job to prove my innocence. Now, hear what I'm saying. In America, you've probably heard the phrase innocent until proven guilty. Not here. Marco and his friends are making sure that you have to prove your innocence and prove that you're not mentally unstable. And of course, they wrap that around it, that's the deal that they're going for. They're trying to keep the guns out of mentally unstable people. That's fine. You do not disenfranchise 300 million people because you're trying to save 10. That's not how it works. They've tweaked the wording a little bit. Originally, when they started putting these red flag gun laws out, they had no due process. So it's like if I blew grass in my neighbor's yard whenever I cut my grass and the neighbor got mad and he knows that I have a couple of guns in my house, he can very easily say that Paul blew grass onto my property. I said something to him. He told me he was going to shoot me and kill me. Well, I mean, the first thing they're going to do is go look at some of these videos and go, well, Paul's definitely got guns. And some of his videos look like he's been a little unhinged, a little off his rocker, probably legitimate. So at that point, they would be able to come in and take all my guns and I have to prove my innocence. Well, whenever we fought back on that for the last couple of years, probably at least 3 years now, what they did is they said, all right, now our red flag gun law bill is going to have due process in it. The same old red flag gun law bill is in there. Now, if we feel like you're a threat, within 14 days of this being reported that you are potentially a threat, we can bring you in here. And actually, they're talking about phone calls now. Talk about coronavirus is now taking an effect on some of these bills. They're talking about doing the hearing with the judge on a telephone within 14 days of me being reported. Now, keep in mind, I'm supposed to be a real threat here, but there's a 14-day window that they're even considering taking my firearms from me. But there's a 14-day window that's out there that they can wait and finally have that hearing within that 14-day window. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Is he really a threat if you're willing to wait 14 days? Because if the guy's a true legitimate threat, why would you ever wait 2 full weeks knowing that he could do himself or somebody else harm? Again, we know what the real point is. It's not about saving me or anyone else. It's taking the guns. So after that 14 days is up, we can have a hearing where it's either determined that I'm not a threat or I am a threat. If I am a threat, then they take all my guns away. That's their new version. That's their one that they say, oh, our red flag gun law includes due process. They're kind of right. They're partially right. Their new red flag gun law does include due process, but they don't tell you that part of it also doesn't include due process, because they have this other extreme risk protection order that is now, if I am deemed to be a significant threat, like right away, like right now, this has to happen now, then they can bypass that 14-day window to have me involved in a hearing and have their little ex parte hearing without me. That's what that ex parte means. They're having this hearing, deciding upon all of this red flag gun law and confiscation and seizure of my firearms without my involvement at all. I'm the one who's been accused here, but they're having this entire conversation, this entire discussion about infringing upon my Second Amendment rights, and I have zero input on that. You know how I find out? I find out that this conversation took place whenever they're beating my door down at 2 o'clock in the morning and kicking it in to come take all of my firearms from me and my ammunition from me. That's how I find out. Why are there two different kinds of red flag gun laws? In other words, why is one, I'm a danger, both of them are dangerous enough to where you feel the need to take my firearms from me. But why is there one where you feel like I'm dangerous enough that you need to take them from me right now, and there's another one that says I'm dangerous enough where you need to confiscate my guns, but you can wait 2 weeks? If anyone is a true legitimate danger right now, and I'm not siding with them, I don't agree with it, but my point is, if I'm in danger right this minute, why would you wait 14 days? Or if I'm dangerous enough to where you feel the need to infringe upon my Second Amendment rights, how in the world can you justify in your mind that you can leave me out here as this massive danger to myself and other people for 14 days while you decide to have a hearing and then you call me in and give me my due process? The reason why I mention that is, what if I truly am a danger? If the real intent of this bill, and we know that it's not, if the real intent of this bill is to save me or others' lives, if I'm a threat, I'm a threat. If I'm enough of a threat to take my guns, then you really think that I'm a legitimate threat to kill people, to harm people, or myself. Why would you ever leave me out there for 14 days doing whatever it is that you think I'm doing? Why would you allow that? Why would you leave me in that type of situation? What if there was a red flag gun law called in on me and you guys said, Paul's probably not an immediate threat. Let's go ahead and get him involved. We're going to make some phone calls. We'll get him in here in the next 13 or 14 days and we'll have a hearing. What if 2 days later I go out and I just mow down an entire school system or a church or a mall or anything like that? What if that were to happen? Then what? That's on you, right? So now you have to answer that. Now this one is just like all the other ones that you've seen. Pretty much anybody can report you. Family or household member, related by blood, marriage, or adoption, a dating partner, individual who has a child in common, individual who resides or has resided with the respondent during the past year, spouse or intimate partner, step-parent, stepchild, grandparent, grandchild relationship, legal guardian. So pretty much anybody, pretty much any living, breathing human being can make this case and make a threat. Now they're talking about evidence. You have to supply evidence. We all know that evidence can simply be, Paul said he was going to kill me. That's the written affidavit. Once you sign that affidavit, that becomes evidence. It doesn't mean that any legitimate, real evidence was actually acquired. It just means that now you can call it evidence because it's a signed affidavit. Supposedly it's the truth, right? How do they not see that this is going to be the most easily abused system ever? Of course, they've got penalties in here. You've got felony penalties that if you make a false claim against somebody that it's a felony charge. Give me a break. In the heat of the moment, with the passions that go on between, especially, I see it more than anything, it's going to be exes, ex-girlfriends, boyfriends, husbands, wives. But you know what's really going to get abused? You know that 15, 16-year-old that's really pissed off because dad called them smoking weed behind the house over there and grounded them for however long, and now they can't go to the Metallica concert or something like that. That's going to be the one that says, watching their dad reloading in the garage one night and they're pissed off because they're stuck at home and all the friends are out partying. That's going to be where they're going to go, I'm going to get him, and they make that call. You don't think that's going to happen? You know how many teenagers out there hate their parents? Because they're going through that phase, they have those hormones just raging, and the parents are trying to do the right thing, and those kids are pissed off. When a kid runs away, that kid doesn't run away because they love their parents. I hate you, Mom, I hate you, Dad. That's where we're going to see an abuse of this system, because that person has every right to make this claim, even though it's fake and it's false and it's a lie. But according to this document from Marco Rubio, they have the right to make that claim. Now, there is hope that if for some reason that I'm falsely accused and they kick my door in at 2 a.m., confiscate all of my guns, all of my ammunition, every single thing. Now, let's remember now, they're leaving all the knives and the hatchets and the baseball bats and the hammers. They're leaving all that behind. They're just taking this stuff. They're going to give me 30 days to think about it, and then we're going to have a hearing where I can then present my case. That's where I get to say, guys, there was never anything wrong with me. And they may actually go after that 30 days and we have that hearing and say, Paul, we think you're right. We don't think you were ever a threat. So for 30 days, my family was not protected. I wasn't protected. I can't carry a gun. I can't have a gun. No ammunition. Nothing. Now remember, I can still have hammers, baseball bats, screwdrivers, beer bottles. I can have whatever I want to. I can bludgeon as many people to death as I want to during that 30 days before I have my hearing to prove myself right or wrong as far as being guilty, but I can't have a gun. I can kill people, just not with a gun. Guys, my point in all of this is the stupid nature of this. I don't ever want anybody to ask me, well, what about the one life we save? What about the one life you cost? What about the lady out there whose husband, ex-husband, is pissed off at her because she's dating a better looking dude than what he is, pissed off because his wife traded up, and he's going to be the one that is not only going to call in on her and say, because believe me, people know how to game the system. He's going to call in on her and say her boyfriend or her are the ones who threatened to kill me. They're going to go take her, probably her kid from her too, but all of her guns from her. This is the guy who sneaks in the middle of the night and kills the lady. That's the lives. That's going to be the collateral damage that we're going to incur here. This is going to happen. This is not a pipe dream. You guys know how it is. And let's not be naive about any of this. This kind of crazy stuff happens all the time already without red flag gun laws. Any of you guys in law enforcement out there, you know the domestic violence calls are the last ones you want to get called out on. You got people who are stabbing other people, and as the cop is hauling the guy away that stabbed the wife, she's pleading to not take him to jail. Now she's already forgiven him, and you got a cop stuck in the middle, and this guy's sitting there going, oh crap, it's fixing to erupt right here. That's the kind of mess that's going to happen to disrupt this whole red flag gun law thing. Imagine now when people realize they can game the system with a red flag gun law where you can cry wolf all you want. There's no way to prove that you lied. It's your word against somebody else's. And I will repeat this until the day I die. It is not okay to disenfranchise upon every single American out there just because you are attempting to save one potential hypothetical life. That's not the way this system works, guys. I have a better idea. All these politicians like Marco Rubio that are writing all these bills out there, putting us in danger while we sit here and wait to try to prove our own innocence to the court system. How about we do this? How about we take your guns, Marco Rubio, and all of your protection, all the Secret Service and everybody else that protects you, take all their firearms away from them because you have access to them. You've got access to them. I need them all gone. I need every single politician in Washington, D.C. that would co-sponsor and vote for this bill. I need all your firearms taken from you. You know why? Because you are a danger to me. You are going to get people killed by your casual arrogance, and I want to see you prove your innocence.